In this video, I'm building mechs for different animals, from small Lego animals to big brick-built creatures with weapons and upgrades for battle. First, I want to build a mech for this tiny squirrel, so I started with the torso, which has a spot for the squirrel in the middle. I added some armored shoulders and a forearm with a ball joint, and then I copied the arm to the other side before moving on to the legs. I used ball joints for the knee and ankle connections, and then I added some armor plating to the shin. I built another leg for the other side, and now I want to add some weapons, so I got these spike pieces and mounted them to the forearms. I want to make a big cannon for the top of the mech, so I grabbed another squirrel to be the gunner, and after clipping it on, this mech is finished. This build is really fun, and the mech is very posable for how small it is. I wouldn't want to face off against these guys in a battle, but maybe this next mech could stand a chance. I got this tiny Lego clownfish, and I want to make a giant mech for it, so I started with building a fish tank to go into the pilot position with some big Lego glass pieces. The fish controls the mech with his mind through these antennas, and after building out the torso section, the tank can get connected to the top where it can rotate back and forth. Next, I built the legs with a reverse knee joint and white and orange color scheme to match the colors of the fish, and now I can work on the arms. The shoulder connects to the forearm with a ratchet joint, and the hand connects with a pin. I connected both arms to the torso, and now this mech needs a bunch of weapons. First, I put together a giant railgun with a scope that can be mounted on the mech's shoulder, and then I added some air defense missiles on the other side. On the back, I clipped on a few booster jets for extra speed, and the last thing the mech needed was a sword before everything was done. This clownfish mech has some serious firepower, and it would be a really tough opponent in battle. It can hit some pretty good poses, and I love all the bright colors which match the fish perfectly, but now it's time to try something a little different. This Lego set is a brick-built wolf, but it actually comes with 3 different options, so you can choose which animal you want to build. I really like the look of the wolf and how it can pose like it's howling. It has some good articulation, and I think it would be cool to use in a build, but I actually want to try upgrading the falcon instead to make an air-based fighter jet animal. The falcon can pose in some different ways, including landed mode or flight mode, and it has so many different spots to attach weapons, so I started by removing the wings and adding some jet boosters to the legs. On the underside of the wing, I added some intakes for air along with the missile and targeting system just next to it. After that, I added a spinning jet engine and some machine guns on the side with some more missiles just below. I attached the wing and duplicated it to the other side of the bird, and then I added a nuke to the bottom before building a targeting system for the falcon to wear on its head. There's still some space on the back, so I built a small plane with another falcon as the pilot and built a launch system on the back of the big falcon before connecting the tiny fighter. This upgrade turned out so good, and the bird has so many weapons. I wonder if this thing would actually even be able to fly in real life, because all that firepower would be pretty heavy, but it still looks really cool either way. This next Lego set is another 3-in-1 build, and I want to use this one for 2 different builds. The lion looks really good, and it can even pose laying down, which is very impressive. It has good articulation, and I like how this looks, so I want to start by making an armored lion. First, I removed all the legs and rebuilt them in gray to make them look like they're made of metal. Next, I added some armor plating to the lion's head and built a protective helmet into the mane before reattaching it to the body. After that, I decided I would build some energized wings so the lion can fly, and I mounted both to the lion's back on ball joints so they can be posed. The last upgrade I want to make is a tail with a mace weapon, and now this build is ready to go. This was a pretty simple upgrade, and I feel like it looks really futuristic. The fact that it can fly would make this lion very dangerous, but I think this next lion build will be even more dangerous because I'm going to give it some ranged weapons. I want to use the Lego molded lion as a pilot for this mech. I started by building a torso for the lion to sit in, and then I moved on to building the arms, which actually used some of the legs from the original lion set from earlier. I made a few simple modifications and was able to give it elbows and some big claws on the hands. After that, I grabbed the legs from the lion and attached them onto the mech along with the original tail, and then I decided to build some weapons for the shoulder. I used some stud launchers and mounted some missiles to the back, and these will give the lion some ranged weapons to use in battle. The final mech looks pretty beefy, and I think it looks pretty funny with the tiny lion head poking out of the cockpit. It looks like it could probably move pretty fast, and it's pretty big, but this next mech is even bigger. This mech is based on Kit from Fortnite, and it has a cat in the pilot position driving a giant mech with a rotating saw blade weapon. The top half of the mech can actually detach, and if you pull off both arms from the sides, it turns into a vehicle that you can drive around. You can even remove the cat, which looks way less threatening when he isn't piloting the big mech suit. The set also comes with this minifigure, which is basically just a tiny version of the big mech, and it's super detailed. I also got this mech, which is based off of a red tiger, and it actually has a transforming feature. It comes with this racer vehicle that has a skull on the front and this creepy creature that looks like it's controlling this guy's dreams. The main mech is pretty cool, but if you separate all the different limbs and connecting section and rebuild it, you can turn it into this jet flyer, which is a very fun play feature, and it actually looks pretty good for what it is. For the the next build, I decided to buy this rhino Lego set, which can also be built as a walrus or a hippo. The rhino looks really realistic for a Lego set, and it even comes with some birds on its back, which are going to be very helpful in just a second. I want to give this rhino some heavy weaponry, so I started with putting a bird in the gunner position behind a larger ammo chamber, which can hold a missile. I closed off the side with a panel that attaches to a clip, and then I built a massive barrel for the cannon before mounting it to the back of the rhino. Next, I decided to build some rotary cannons for the side of the rhino with some hose pieces to carry energy between the weapons. I duplicated another rotary cannon to the other side, and this build is complete. I feel like the heavy artillery really fits with the rhino, and I like how all the birds look in their gunner positions. I think the build turned out well, and this would definitely be a tough opponent in battle. Overall, I think this might be one of my favorite builds from this video, but let's take a look at the next one. This set has two different options for the build, so I started by building the standing version of the Panda Mech, which comes with an awesome printed headpiece and rotating blaster cannon. The second build option turns into a four-legged creature which has the cannon mounted on its back. I really like the spiky shoulder pieces, and even though this version is cool, I don't think it's quite as good as the other version of this build. I bought this next set because I want to steal the Walker build from these Star Wars characters so I can convert it into a mech. I got this chicken minifigure to be the new pilot, and I think it's gonna fit perfectly. I color swapped the body to white and gave the chicken some yellow legs with a white tail on its back that has a booster engine for speed. After connecting some wings to the side, I connected some armor plates to the front with two blaster cannons, and now I want to add some more firepower to the back. I clipped some blasters onto these mounting points and attached it to the back of the mech before putting the pilot in place. This mech looks pretty funny, but I like how it turned out. The colors pop, and it definitely seems like it belongs with the chicken suit pilot, who looks a little too excited to be going into battle. This next build is pretty big, and it's actually based on a fox. It comes together as a giant fox mech that has a green and gold color scheme. The set comes with some pretty crazy looking minifigures, and I really like the weapons that the fox comes with, including its sword and a massive claw. I actually bought another fox because I want to give this one some upgrades. It has some great alternate build options and impressive articulation for an animal build. I like the dark orange color that they chose to use when designing this set, and I know exactly how I want to upgrade it. I started by adding some communications and targeting accessories to the head, and then I attached a mounting point on the back of the fox for some arms. I used ball joints to connect the limbs together, and then I built small blaster weapons to attach to the hands. After getting both arms connected, I built a communications booster to mount behind the arms, and this build is ready to go. I wanted this fox to be a scouter and keep the build pretty light. Foxes are fast and nimble, so they are great for stealth missions, and I think this guy would fit that role perfectly. This next mech is a build for a tiny hamster, and it actually transforms from a ball into a walking tank type of mech. If you push this lever on the side, the hamster pops out of the top of the mech, and I just really like the way that this build looks. All the stickers make it look super detailed, and the tiny hamster honestly looks hilarious. For the next mech, I bought this deep sea exploration set, which comes with a bunch of animals, vehicles, and minifigures. The submarine has claws on the front, a research station on the inside, and a small underwater rover that can be removed from the back of the submarine to go out on missions. The shipwreck comes with sharks swimming in circles around the top, which are normal small sharks, but you also get this giant shark that can actually fit a whole minifigure in its mouth. I'm building a mech for the big shark, starting with a dark gray base. I built some spiky armor plating and clipped it onto the sides with some more protection toward the back, and then I built some arms with ball joints and attached some sharp grabber claws to the end. I built some heat-seeking missiles on the front of some booster engines, and then I attached some effect pieces to the back before duplicating everything to the other side. I connected a blaster to the bottom of the build along with a speed-boosting turbine to the back, and this build is done. I really like how this underwater mech turned out. It looks super fast and dangerous, and I think the sand blue color looks great. Sharks are already scary on their own, but this one is faster with way more weapons. That's all the mechs for this video, so let me know which one is your favorite in the comments section down below. Shout out to Bauer Bricks and Lavish Bricks for helping me design some of these awesome builds. Click on the end screen now for more mechs, and thanks for watching.